Picture this, a land where the Sahara Desert meets the Mediterranean Sea in perfect harmony, where ancient Roman amphitheaters rise from golden dunes, and where turquoise waters lap against shores that have witnessed 3,000 years of civilization. This is Tunisia, a country so visually stunning and culturally rich that it served as the backdrop for Star Wars, Gladiator, and countless other films seeking otherworldly beauty. In the span of just 165,000 square kilometers, Tunisia contains more natural and architectural diversity than countries 10 times its size. Here, you'll find underground cities carved into cliffsides, salt lakes that shimmer like mirrors, and oases that appear like emeralds dropped into an ocean of sand. From the snow-capped peaks of the Atlas Mountains to the endless dunes of the Grand Erg Oriental, from Byzantine mosaics to Islamic architecture that rivals anything in the world, Tunisia doesn't just offer beauty, it redefines it. Today, we're embarking on a visual journey through the 12 most breathtaking wonders of this North African jewel. Each destination we'll explore represents a different facet of Tunisia's incredible landscape. Natural phenomena that took millions of years to form, architectural marvels that showcase human ingenuity, and cultural treasures that tell the story of civilizations past and present. Get ready to discover why Tunisia has captivated travelers, artists, and filmmakers for generations. In the heart of Tunisia's desert landscape lies one of nature's most extraordinary optical illusions, a vast salt lake that transforms throughout the day like a living, breathing canvas. Chott El Djerid, spanning over 7,000 square kilometers, is the largest salt lake in the Sahara Desert and, honestly, one of the most visually spectacular natural phenomena on Earth. During the dry season, this massive depression becomes a crystalline wilderness where geometric salt formations create an otherworldly landscape that seems lifted from another planet. The surface appears as a brilliant white expanse stretching to the horizon, broken only by polygonal patterns of salt crystals that form naturally as water evaporates. These formations create a honeycomb-like texture that changes color throughout the day, from pure white at dawn to golden yellow at midday, then shifting to deep orange and purple as the sun sets. But it's the mirages that make Chott El Djerid truly magical. The extreme heat radiating from the salt surface creates some of the most convincing mirages in the world, where palm trees appear to float in the air, mountains seem to hover upside down, and entire cities shimmer in the distance like phantoms. These aren't simple heat distortions, they're complex optical phenomena that have fooled travelers for millennia. The lake's transformation is equally remarkable. During rare winter rains, parts of Chott El Djerid fill with water, creating a massive mirror that reflects the sky so perfectly, it becomes impossible to distinguish where the earth ends and the heavens begin. The water, tinted pink by salt-loving algae and bacteria, creates a surreal landscape where flamingos wade through what appears to be liquid rose gold. The geological story of Chott El Djerid is equally fascinating. This depression was formed millions of years ago when the African continent shifted, creating a basin that was once connected to the Mediterranean Sea. Today it sits 10 meters below sea level, acting as a natural collection point for minerals washed down from the Atlas Mountains. The result is a landscape so alien that NASA has used it as a testing ground for Mars rovers, and filmmakers have transformed it into the fictional planet Tatooine. Hidden beneath the rolling hills of southern Tunisia lies one of the world's most ingenious architectural solutions, an entire network of underground cities carved directly into the earth. Matmata represents one of humanity's most successful adaptations to extreme desert conditions, where Berber families have lived in subterranean homes for over 1,500 years. These aren't simple caves, they're sophisticated underground complexes that showcase remarkable engineering. Each dwelling begins with a large circular pit excavated up to 10 meters deep into the soft sandstone. From this central courtyard, rooms are carved horizontally into the surrounding walls, creating a natural amphitheater protected from the desert's harsh elements. The result is a living space that maintains a comfortable temperature year-round, staying cool in summer and warm in winter without any artificial heating or cooling. Walking through Matmata feels like stepping into a lost civilization. The circular courtyards viewed from above create a moonscape of perfectly round craters dotting the landscape. Some of these pits are so large they contain entire olive trees, their branches reaching toward the circular patch of sky above. The carved rooms branch off like spokes from a wheel, with smooth walls that have been polished by generations of inhabitants. The architectural brilliance extends beyond mere temperature control. The underground design provides protection from sandstorms that can last for days, while the thick earthen walls muffle sound, creating an oasis of calm in the midst of the desert. Many homes feature elaborate carved decorations and built-in storage areas that have preserved grain and other supplies for centuries. The visual impact of Matmata is stunning. The contrast between the harsh, sun-baked surface and the cool, shadowed interiors creates a play of light and shadow that changes throughout the day. Morning light streams down into the courtyards, illuminating the carved walls with a warm glow, while the rooms remain mysteriously dark, their entrances appearing like ancient doorways to another world. Hollywood recognized Matmata's otherworldly beauty when it was chosen as the location for Luke Skywalker's childhood home in Star Wars. The Hotel Sidi Driss, built into one of these underground complexes, still displays the movie sets, allowing visitors to experience the same alien landscape that captivated audiences worldwide. But the real magic of Matmata lies in its continued use as a living community, where families still gather in their circular courtyards as their ancestors did centuries ago. Number 10. Carthage Archaeological Site. On the shores of the Mediterranean, where Africa reaches toward Europe across the narrow strait, lie the ruins of one of history's most powerful civilizations. Carthage, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, represents more than just archaeological remains. It's a landscape where you can literally walk through layers of history, each telling a different chapter of human ambition, conflict, and cultural achievement. The ruins of Carthage sprawl across rolling hills overlooking the Gulf of Tunis, creating a dramatic backdrop where ancient stones frame views of the sparkling Mediterranean. The most impressive structure is the Antonine Baths, once the largest Roman baths in Africa and among the largest in the empire. These ruins rise from the landscape like a massive stone sculpture, with arches and walls reaching up to 15 meters high, creating cathedral-like spaces that dwarf human visitors. The thermal baths complex reveals the sophisticated engineering of Roman civilization. Massive underground chambers housed the hypocaust heating system, where hot air circulated through hollow walls to heat the water. Today, these underground passages create a maze of shadowy corridors, where light filters through openings in the stone ceiling, casting dramatic patterns on the ancient walls. The scale is overwhelming. The main hall could hold thousands of bathers, while the cold room or frigidarium was topped by a dome larger than most modern buildings. But Carthage's beauty extends beyond Roman grandeur. The Punic ports, where Hannibal's navy once anchored, are now peaceful lagoons where the geometric precision of ancient harbor engineering is still visible beneath the water. The circular military harbor, perfectly preserved in its outline, demonstrates the mathematical precision of Carthaginian naval architecture. These harbors were marvels of engineering, designed to protect hundreds of war galleys while providing easy access to the Mediterranean. The Carthage Museum, built into the hills overlooking the ruins, houses some of the finest mosaics ever created. These aren't simple decorative pieces, they're narrative masterworks that tell stories of daily life, mythology, and cultural exchange. The mosaic depicting the Lady of Carthage is particularly stunning, showing artistic techniques that wouldn't be seen again in Europe for centuries. The Tophet, or sacred burial ground, presents a more somber aspect of Carthaginian culture. Thousands of small stone markers, or stelae, create a field of ancient monuments stretching across several acres. Each marker represents a family's offering to the gods, and their carved symbols tell stories of faith, loss, and hope that transcend the millennia. Number 9. Amphitheater of El Jem. Rising from the olive groves of central Tunisia like a golden colossus, the Amphitheater of El Jem stands as one of the most perfectly preserved Roman monuments in the world. This isn't just another ancient ruin, it's a complete Roman amphitheater that rivals the Colosseum in Rome and honestly surpasses it in its state of preservation, offering visitors an unfiltered glimpse into the grandeur of Roman entertainment and engineering. The amphitheater's exterior presents a breathtaking sight as you approach through the surrounding farmland. Built from local golden sandstone, the structure seems to glow with an inner light, especially during the golden hour when the setting sun transforms the ancient stones into molten gold. The facade rises in 3 tiers of arches, each level featuring a different architectural order, creating a rhythm of light and shadow that changes throughout the day. With a capacity of 35,000 spectators, El Jem was the 3rd largest amphitheater in the Roman Empire, built around 238 AD when the city of Thysdrus was one of the wealthiest in Roman Africa. The arena floor, now exposed, reveals the complex network of underground chambers and corridors where gladiators, wild animals, and elaborate stage machinery were housed. These subterranean passages, called the hypogeum, create a labyrinth of stone corridors where sound echoes mysteriously, and shafts of light pierce the darkness from openings above. The engineering precision is remarkable. The entire structure was designed to efficiently move thousands of spectators to their seats while providing perfect acoustics throughout. Modern sound tests have shown that a whisper from the arena floor can be heard in the highest seats, demonstrating acoustic engineering that wouldn't be matched for centuries. The elliptical design, measuring 148 meters by 122 meters, creates perfect sightlines from every seat, while the sophisticated drainage system prevented flooding during Tunisia's rare but intense rainstorms. Standing on the arena floor, you can almost hear the roar of ancient crowds. The sand that once covered the floor to absorb blood has long since blown away, leaving behind the geometric patterns of the underground chambers. These chambers housed elaborate elevators and pulleys that could raise wild animals, gladiators, and even complete stage sets into the arena through trapdoors, creating theatrical spectacles that amazed audiences across the empire. The amphitheater's preservation is so complete that it's still used for performances today. The annual El Gem International Symphonic Music Festival transforms the ancient arena into a concert hall, where classical music echoes through the same stone corridors that once rang with the clash of gladiator combat. The visual impact of a full orchestra performing surrounded by 2,000-year-old stone walls is profound, creating a direct connection between past and present that, honestly, few historical sites can match. Number 8. Sidi Bou Said. Perched on a cliff overlooking the Mediterranean, Sidi Bou Said represents the perfect marriage of Andalusian architecture and Tunisian craftsmanship. A village so beautiful it seems painted rather than built. This isn't just another picturesque town, it's a living masterpiece where every building, every doorway, and every street corner has been crafted to create visual harmony that has inspired artists and writers for over a century. The village's signature aesthetic, brilliant white walls adorned with bright blue doors, windows, and decorative elements, creates a striking contrast against the deep blue of the Mediterranean below. This color scheme isn't arbitrary, it represents a perfect understanding of light and shadow in the North African climate. The white walls reflect the intense Mediterranean sun, keeping interiors cool, while the blue accents echo the sea and sky, creating a sense of infinite space and tranquility. Walking through Sidi Bou Said's narrow cobblestone streets feels like moving through a three-dimensional artwork. The traditional architecture features mashrabiyya windows, intricately carved wooden screens that allow residents to see out while maintaining privacy. These windows cast intricate shadow patterns on the white walls, creating a constantly changing display of geometric art as the sun moves across the sky. The craftsmanship is extraordinary. Each window screen is hand-carved with patterns that have been passed down through generations of artisans. The village's elevated position provides breathtaking panoramic views of the Gulf of Tunis and the ruins of ancient Carthage. From the cliff-top cafes, visitors can see the Mediterranean stretching to the horizon, dotted with fishing boats and pleasure craft. The contrast between the intimate scale of the village and the vast expanse of sea creates a perfect balance between human achievement and natural beauty. The Dar El Anabi Museum, housed in a traditional Tunisian palace, showcases the sophisticated interior design that characterizes Sidi Bou Said's architecture. The building features central courtyards surrounded by rooms with elaborately painted ceilings, intricate tile work, and furniture that represents centuries of Tunisian craftsmanship. The museum's rooftop terrace offers perhaps the most spectacular view in Tunisia, where the geometric patterns of the village's rooftops create a foreground for the sweeping vista of the Mediterranean. The village's artistic legacy is, honestly, pretty profound. French writer André Gide lived here, and painters like Paul Klee and Auguste Macke found inspiration in its unique light and architecture. The quality of light in Sidi Bou Said is, well, legendary among artists. The white walls and blue accents create a natural studio where colors appear more vivid and shadows more dramatic than anywhere else in the Mediterranean. Number 7. Kairouan's Great Mosque. In the heart of Tunisia's ancient Islamic capital stands one of the most significant architectural achievements in the Islamic world, the Great Mosque of Kairouan. This isn't just a religious building, it's a masterpiece of early Islamic architecture that established design principles still followed in mosque construction today, and a spiritual center that has drawn pilgrims from across the Islamic world for over 1,300 years. The mosque's visual impact is immediate and, honestly, just overwhelming. The massive structure covers over 9,000 square meters, which actually makes it one of the largest mosques in North Africa. The prayer hall, supported by more than 400 columns, creates this forest of marble and stone that just seems to extend infinitely in all directions. These columns, many salvaged from Roman and Byzantine buildings, represent a stunning example of architectural recycling, creating something entirely new from the remnants of past civilizations. The minaret, rising 31 meters above the complex, is a masterpiece of geometric proportion and decorative restraint. Built in 3 tiers, each slightly smaller than the one below, it creates a sense of upward movement that draws the eye skyward. The minaret's surface decoration is subtle but sophisticated, featuring geometric patterns carved in relief that create plays of light and shadow throughout the day. This was the prototype for minarets across the Islamic world, and its influence can be seen in mosque architecture from Spain to Central Asia. The mihrab, or prayer niche, represents one of the finest examples of Islamic decorative art. The horseshoe arch is surrounded by intricate geometric patterns and calligraphy that create a sense of infinite complexity within perfect order. The luster tiles, imported from Mesopotamia in the 9th century, still gleam with an otherworldly beauty that transforms the prayer hall into a space that seems to exist between the earthly and the divine. The mosque's courtyard is equally impressive, paved with marble and surrounded by arcades that create a rhythmic pattern of light and shadow. The geometric precision of the arcade's arches, each perfectly proportioned and aligned, creates a sense of mathematical perfection that reflects Islamic concepts of divine order. Rainwater from the courtyard is collected in elaborate cisterns beneath the mosque, an engineering marvel that has provided water for the complex for over a millennium. The wooden minbar, or pulpit, is considered one of the finest examples of Islamic woodworking. Created in the 9th century, it features over 300 individual panels, each carved with intricate geometric and vegetal patterns. The craftsmanship is so precise that no 2 panels are identical, yet all work together to create a unified artistic statement that has amazed visitors for centuries. Number 6. Douga Archaeological Site. Hidden in the rolling hills of northwestern Tunisia lies perhaps the most complete Roman city outside of Italy, Douga, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that offers an unparalleled glimpse into daily life in Roman Africa. This isn't just a collection of ruins, it's an entire ancient city preserved in stone, where you can walk the same streets as Roman citizens did 2,000 years ago and experience the full scope of Roman urban planning and architecture. The site's dramatic setting adds to its visual impact. Built on a hillside overlooking the Tebersuk Valley, Douga commands sweeping views of the surrounding countryside. The city's buildings cascade down the slope, creating a natural amphitheater where ancient structures frame panoramic vistas of olive groves and wheat fields that stretch to the horizon. The golden limestone used in construction seems to glow in the afternoon light, creating a harmony between human achievement and natural beauty. The capital, dedicated to the Roman gods Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva, stands as the city's crowning achievement. This temple, one of the best preserved Roman temples in Africa, rises on a high podium approached by a monumental staircase. The building's proportions are perfect, with 6 Corinthian columns supporting a pediment that once displayed elaborate sculptures. Standing before the Capitol, you can understand why Roman architecture became the model for government buildings across the Western world. The theater, carved into the hillside, demonstrates Roman engineering at its finest. With seating for 3,500 spectators, the semicircular structure provides perfect acoustics and sightlines while offering a backdrop of the surrounding landscape. The stage building, though partially ruined, still shows traces of the elaborate decoration that once provided a backdrop for dramatic performances. Modern sound tests have confirmed that the acoustic design allows normal speech from the stage to be heard clearly in the highest seats. The residential areas of Douga reveal the sophisticated lifestyle of Roman Africa's elite. The House of the Trifolium features elaborate mosaic floors depicting mythological scenes, geometric patterns, and daily life scenes that are masterworks of ancient art. The mosaics are so well preserved that individual tesserae or mosaic pieces can be examined in detail, revealing the incredible skill of ancient craftsmen who created these artistic floors piece by tiny piece. The Arch of Alexander Severus, marking the entrance to the city, is a triumph of Roman decorative architecture. The arch's relief sculptures, though weathered, still convey the power and grandeur of the Roman Empire. The structure creates a dramatic gateway that frames views of the surrounding countryside, serving as both a practical entrance and a symbol of Roman authority. And just when you think Tunisia's wonders can't get more spectacular, wait until you see what's coming in our top 5. Number 5. Chinini Berber Village. Clinging to the edge of a dramatic escarpment like a natural extension of the rock itself, Chinini represents one of North Africa's most extraordinary examples of harmony between human settlement and natural landscape. This ancient Berber village, perched 500 meters above the surrounding plain, isn't just built on the mountain, it's carved into it, creating a living sculpture that has defied time, weather, and countless invasions for over 800 years. The village's visual impact is breathtaking. From a distance, Chinini appears as a series of caves and ledges cut into the golden limestone cliff face, so perfectly integrated with the natural rock formations that it's sometimes difficult to distinguish between human construction and geological accident. The traditional sar, or fortified granary, crowns the highest point of the village, its distinctive white-domed mosque visible for miles across the surrounding landscape. The architecture of Chinini represents a perfect adaptation to the harsh environment of southern Tunisia. The cave dwellings, carved directly into the soft limestone, provide natural insulation that keeps interiors cool in summer and warm in winter. Many of these caves extend deep into the rock, creating multi-room complexes that have housed families for generations. The contrast between the harsh, sun-baked exterior and the cool, shadowed interiors is dramatic, offering refuge from the desert heat in spaces that feel both ancient and timeless. The village's defensive position tells a story of survival and resistance. Built on a site that's virtually impregnable, Chinini served as a refuge for Berber tribes during centuries of invasion and occupation. The narrow pathways carved into the rock face can only be traversed single file, making the village virtually impossible to attack. These same paths now offer visitors a thrilling journey through ancient stone corridors where every turn reveals new vistas of the surrounding landscape. The granary complex at Chinini's summit is an architectural marvel. These collective storage facilities, called ghorfas, consist of hundreds of individual chambers carved into the rock and stacked several stories high. Each family in the village owned specific chambers where they stored grain, dates, and other supplies. The geometric precision of these storage units with their distinctive arched openings creates a honeycomb-like pattern that's both functional and beautiful. The views from Chinini are spectacular. The village overlooks the vast plain that stretches toward the Sahara Desert, dotted with palm oases and ancient trade routes. From the highest point you can see the landscape that has shaped Berber culture for millennia, a harsh but beautiful environment where survival depends on understanding the delicate balance between human needs and natural resources. The village's continuing occupation makes it a living museum of Berber culture. Traditional crafts, including pottery and weaving, are still practiced using techniques passed down through generations. The daily life of the village, from the call to prayer echoing off the rock walls to the gathering of families in the communal spaces, continues patterns that have remained unchanged for centuries. Number 4. Bulla Regia Underground Villas. Beneath the seemingly modest ruins of Bulla Regia lies one of the ancient world's most innovative architectural solutions. A complete underground city where Roman families escaped the African heat in elaborate subterranean villas that rival anything built above ground. This UNESCO World Heritage Site represents a unique adaptation of Roman architecture to the North African climate, creating spaces that are both visually stunning and ingeniously practical. The underground villas of Bulla Regia weren't built from necessity. They were luxury homes for the Roman elite, who chose to live below ground during the hot summer months. These subterranean palaces, carved directly into the bedrock, feature all the amenities of above-ground Roman villas: elaborate mosaic floors, painted walls, private baths, and elegant courtyards. The temperature in these underground rooms remains constant year-round, providing a naturally air-conditioned environment that would be the envy of modern homeowners. The House of the Hunt is perhaps the most spectacular of these underground villas. Descending the ancient staircase into the subterranean rooms feels like entering a secret world. The main reception hall, with its soaring ceiling and elaborate floor mosaics, creates a sense of grandeur that's enhanced by the mysterious quality of filtered light. The mosaics depict hunting scenes with remarkable detail and artistry, featuring African animals and hunting techniques that provide insight into the daily life of Roman Africa. The engineering required to create these underground spaces was extraordinary. Roman builders had to solve complex problems of ventilation, drainage, and light penetration, while maintaining the structural integrity of the rooms above. The result is a system of interconnected spaces that feel spacious and airy, despite being completely underground. Light wells and cleverly positioned openings create dramatic lighting effects, with shafts of sunlight illuminating specific areas while leaving others in mysterious shadow. The House of Amphitrite features what may be the most beautiful underground room in the ancient world. The central reception hall is dominated by a magnificent mosaic depicting the sea goddess Amphitrite surrounded by marine creatures. The artistry is extraordinary. Individual fish, sea creatures, and decorative elements are rendered with such precision that they seem to swim across the floor. The room's acoustics are perfect, creating an intimate space where conversation carries clearly despite the underground location. The contrast between the underground and above-ground portions of these villas is striking. While the subterranean rooms provided luxury and comfort, the upper levels featured traditional Roman architecture with columns, courtyards, and reception halls. This dual-level design allowed families to adapt their living arrangements to the seasons, moving between above and below ground as the weather changed. The preservation of these underground spaces is remarkable. Protected from weather and human interference, the mosaics and architectural details have survived in extraordinary condition. Walking through these rooms today, you can still see the tool marks left by ancient craftsmen, the burn marks from oil lamps, and the wear patterns on floors that were walked on by Roman families nearly 2,000 years ago. If this underground marvel has already amazed you, hit that subscribe button, because we're about to explore 3 wonders that will redefine your understanding of natural beauty. Number 3. Ichthyool National Park. Where the Mediterranean meets the Atlas Mountains, a unique wetland ecosystem creates one of the most important bird sanctuaries in the world, Ichthyool National Park. This UNESCO World Heritage Site isn't just a nature reserve, it's a critical stopover point for millions of migratory birds traveling between Europe and Africa, creating seasonal spectacles that transform the landscape into a living canvas of motion, color, and sound. The park's centerpiece is Lake Ichthyool, a massive freshwater lake that, changes dramatically with the seasons. During winter, the lake fills with Mediterranean rainwater, creating a vast freshwater habitat that attracts over 200 species of birds. The shallow waters, averaging only about 2 meters deep, provide perfect feeding grounds for thousands of waterfowl, while the surrounding marshes offer nesting sites for resident species. The seasonal transformation of Ichthyool is honestly one of nature's most spectacular displays. During spring migration, the lake becomes a staging ground for hundreds of thousands of birds preparing for their journey to European breeding grounds. The air fills with the sound of wings and calls as ducks, geese, storks, and flamingos gather in massive flocks. The sight of 40,000 greylag geese taking flight simultaneously creates a cloud of birds that darkens the sky, their wings creating a thunderous sound that, can be heard for miles. The park's diverse habitats support an incredible variety of wildlife. The lake itself hosts populations of coots, ducks, and diving birds, while the surrounding marshes provide habitat for herons, egrets, and other wading birds. The nearby Jebel Ichthyool, a mountain that rises 511 meters above the lake, creates a dramatic backdrop while providing habitat for Mediterranean forest species, including wild boar, golden jackals, and over 40 species of raptors. The ecological importance of Ichthyool extends far beyond its borders. The park serves as a crucial link in the East Atlantic Flyway, one of the world's major bird migration routes. Birds that nest in Siberia and Scandinavia depend on Ichthyool's resources to fuel their journey to wintering grounds in tropical Africa. The loss of this habitat would have catastrophic effects on bird populations across 2 continents. The visual spectacle of Ichthyool varies dramatically with the seasons. Winter brings the greatest concentrations of birds when the lake surface seems to move with the constant activity of feeding waterfowl. Spring migration creates choreographed displays as flocks spiral upward on thermal currents, forming massive kettles of birds that twist and turn in synchronized flight. Summer brings a different beauty, as the lake recedes and salt-tolerant plants create a carpet of green that attracts different species. The park's management represents a delicate balance between conservation and the needs of surrounding communities. The lake's water levels are carefully managed to maintain the freshwater conditions that migrating birds require, while traditional grazing by water buffalo helps maintain the grassland habitats that many species depend on. This integration of human activity and wildlife conservation creates a model for sustainable ecosystem management. In the heart of the Sahara Desert, where endless dunes meet the edge of human endurance, lies one of nature's most miraculous achievements, the Tozeur Oasis. This isn't just a collection of palm trees around a water source, it's a complete ecosystem that has sustained human civilization for over 3,000 years, creating a garden paradise in one of Earth's most challenging environments. The oasis covers over 1,000 hectares, making it one of the largest palm groves in the world. More than 200,000 date palms create a verdant canopy that provides shade for a complex three-tier agricultural system perfected over millennia. The palms form the upper story, their fronds creating a natural roof that reduces evaporation and provides protection from sandstorms. Beneath this canopy, fruit trees including pomegranates, citrus, and figs form a middle layer, while vegetables and grains grow in the irrigated ground level. The irrigation system that makes this oasis possible is an engineering marvel that predates Roman aqueducts. The traditional Foggara system channels water from underground springs through a network of channels that distribute precious water throughout the oasis with mathematical precision. Each palm tree receives exactly the amount of water it needs, with excess flowing to the next level of irrigation. You know, the sound of flowing water creates a constant, gentle murmur that, well, transforms the harsh silence of the desert into a symphony of life. It's quite remarkable, really. The visual beauty of Tozeur is honestly overwhelming. The contrast between the golden dunes of the surrounding desert and the intense green of the palm groves creates one of the most striking landscapes on Earth. The palm trees, many of them over 100 years old, create these cathedral-like spaces where filtered sunlight makes patterns of light and shadow that change throughout the day. The geometric precision of the traditional brick architecture, built from local clay that matches the desert's natural colors, creates a real harmony between human construction and natural beauty. The oasis produces some of the world's finest dates, especially the translucent Deglet Noor variety that's prized across the Middle East and North Africa. The cultivation of these dates requires incredible skill and knowledge that's been passed down through generations. Each tree must be carefully tended, with farmers climbing to heights of over 20 meters to pollinate female trees by hand, and later to harvest the fruit. The sight of farmers working in the palm canopy, moving from tree to tree like skilled acrobats, is both beautiful and, honestly, kind of death-defying. The Eden Palm Museum, located right in the heart of the oasis, showcases the incredible biodiversity that this ecosystem supports. The museum's gardens contain over 1,000 plant species, many of which exist nowhere else in the Sahara. The contrast between the museum's lush gardens and the surrounding desert really creates a powerful demonstration of what human knowledge and natural resources can achieve when they're perfectly balanced. The cultural landscape of Tozeur is equally remarkable. The old Medina, built entirely from traditional brick made from local clay, creates an architectural harmony that very few cities achieve. The geometric patterns of the brickwork, a technique called codograph, create walls that seem to shimmer in the desert heat. And these patterns aren't just decorative, they provide crucial ventilation and structural strength, while also creating some of the most beautiful architectural surfaces in the Islamic world. At the edge of the world's largest hot desert, where the last outpost of civilization meets an ocean of sand that stretches beyond the horizon, lies the most primordial and powerful landscape on Earth, the Sahara Desert at Duz. This isn't just sand dunes and empty space, it's a living, breathing ecosystem that covers an area larger than the United States, creating landscapes so alien and beautiful that they challenge our understanding of what our planet can create. The Great Eastern Erg, accessible from Duz, represents the Sahara at its most spectacular. These aren't the modest sand hills you might imagine. They're mountains of sand rising over 300 meters high, creating a topography that changes constantly with the wind. The dunes move slowly across the landscape, some traveling several meters per year, creating a dynamic environment where the very ground beneath your feet is in constant motion. The colors of the Sahara are legendary, but experiencing them in person is transformative. The sand isn't simply yellow or brown, it's a complex palette that changes throughout the day and seasons. At sunrise, the dunes glow with soft pink and gold, their curved ridges creating perfect lines of light and shadow. By midday, the sand becomes a brilliant white that reflects the intense sun, creating a landscape so bright it seems to emit its own light. At sunset, the dunes transform into waves of orange, red, and purple, with shadows that create depth and texture across the seemingly endless expanse. The silence of the Sahara is profound, not just the absence of sound, but a quality of quiet that you can feel in your bones. In this environment, the smallest sounds become amplified, the whisper of sand grains moving in the wind, the distant call of a desert bird, the rhythm of camel bells carrying across the dunes. This silence isn't empty, it's full of presence, creating a meditative quality that has drawn mystics and travelers for thousands of years. The ecosystem of the Sahara is far more complex than it appears. Despite the harsh conditions, the desert supports over 2,800 species of plants and animals, many found nowhere else on Earth. The sand dunes themselves are alive with activity, beetles that navigate by starlight, lizards that can run across sand without sinking, and plants that can survive years without rainfall. The desert's apparent emptiness masks an intricate web of life adapted to conditions that would kill most organisms within hours. The night sky above the Sahara is perhaps the most spectacular on Earth. With no light pollution for hundreds of miles, the stars appear with an intensity that urban dwellers never experience. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like a river of light, and planets are visible to the naked eye. Meteor showers, invisible in populated areas, create dramatic displays that light up the entire sky. The desert's silence makes the night sky seem even more vast and mysterious. The cultural significance of the Sahara extends far beyond its natural beauty. This desert has been a highway for trade, culture, and ideas for millennia. The trans-Saharan trade routes that passed through this region connected sub-Saharan Africa with the Mediterranean world, carrying gold, salt, and knowledge that shaped civilizations. The desert's harsh conditions created cultures of incredible resilience and hospitality, where survival depended on cooperation and the sharing of resources. The experience of camping in the Sahara is, honestly, transformative. As night falls over the dunes, temperatures drop dramatically, creating this striking contrast between the day's heat and the night's unexpected coolness. The sand that burned your feet during the day, well, it actually becomes a comfortable bed, holding just enough warmth to provide comfort through the night. The stars wheel overhead in their ancient patterns, and the silence becomes a presence that connects you to something larger than yourself. Standing on the crest of a major dune, looking out over hundreds of square kilometers of untouched sand, you're witnessing a landscape that has remained essentially unchanged for millions of years. The same winds that carved these dunes carried the dust that fertilized the Amazon rainforest. The same stars that guide desert travelers today guided the caravans that carried the wealth of Africa across this same landscape centuries ago. The Sahara at Duz represents more than just natural beauty. It's a landscape that puts human existence in perspective. In the face of such vast emptiness, the concerns of daily life seem, insignificant, replaced by a profound awareness of our place in the natural world. This is nature at its most powerful and uncompromising, a reminder that despite all human achievements, we remain small parts of a much larger story. From the underground cities of Matmata to the endless dunes of the Sahara, from the ancient grandeur of Carthage to the living traditions of Berber villages, Tunisia reveals itself as a country that, honestly, just defies simple categorization. This is a land where three continents meet, where ancient civilizations built monuments that still inspire awe, and where natural forces have created landscapes that seem to belong on other planets. What makes Tunisia truly extraordinary isn't just the individual beauty of these 12 wonders. It's how they work together to tell a story of human adaptation, creativity, and resilience. The same ingenuity that created the underground houses of Matmata built the sophisticated irrigation systems of Tozeur. The same aesthetic sensibility that designed the perfect proportions of Sidi Bou Said's architecture created the geometric patterns of Kairouan's Great Mosque. The same forces that carved the dramatic cliffs of Chenini shaped the vast salt flats of Chott el Djerid. Tunisia is a country where every landscape tells a story, where every monument represents a dialogue between human ambition and natural possibility. It's a place where, honestly, the journey between wonders is as beautiful as the destinations themselves, where the road from Roman ruins to Berber villages passes through landscapes that constantly redefine your understanding of what's possible. This small North African nation contains more diversity, geographical, cultural, and historical, than, honestly, most continents. From the snow-capped peaks of the Atlas Mountains to the burning sands of the Sahara, from the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean to the pink salt lakes of the interior, Tunisia offers a complete encyclopedia of natural and human achievement compressed into a space you can cross in a single day. If this journey through Tunisia's most beautiful wonders has amazed you, go ahead and subscribe and share it with someone who loves discovery. These aren't just places to visit, they're experiences that, honestly, change how you see the world. Landscapes that remind us why we explore, and wonders that prove our planet still holds mysteries waiting to be discovered. Some places you visit, others stay with you forever. Until the next destination, stay curious.